Belle with Pop Culture Uncovered, and we are here to talk about Sherlock. Let's talk about the good. I've missed the gang. Yes, Benedict and Martin and Mark have been in many other things like Doctor Strange and Civil War and Game of Thrones. But there is something about having the three of them together on screen that just is magic. They work so well together. They play off of each other so well. And so having them back together, it kind of felt like coming home, to be honest. It was nice to just see them together again. Especially, it's been 2 years. So, yeah, it was really nice to really see them all together again. Not counting the Christmas special. The locations and shoots look gorgeous. Though, appropriately, London kind of fades into the background in this episode, which makes sense. Because John and Mary got married. And they moved to the suburbs. So, Sherlock, who is pretty much a part of their marriage for all intents and purposes, his focus went to the suburbs. So with Sherlock's focus pulled away from London, it makes sense that London in and of itself, while still a character in the show as much as anyone else is just not as prominent of a character. So it makes perfect sense, and I like that that was done. It's a small thing that shows the change of the status quo. The acting. There are so many great moments in this episode between various characters. There is a wonderful bit between John and Lestrade talking about fatherhood and how having Sherlock around has pretty much prepared John for that. And it is hilarious, it is sweet, and it is kind of nasty. It's all of those things at once, and it's really funny and really perfect. So I love that. Out of all the cast, and everyone does a great job. Everyone does a great job. Amanda Abington just blows your mind. She does such a fantastic job as Mary Watson. She pulls out all the stops. It is a phenomenal, Emmy-worthy, honestly, performance from her. We believe every step of Mary's journey. We are 100% there for her every step of the way. It builds on the work of the previous seasons and expands on it. So she just does a really great job. But now we kind of need to talk about the actual meat of the episode. Spoilers. I'll give you a minute. If you haven't seen the episode, you should walk away now. And if you stay, you might hear some things you don't like. So, keep that in mind. You ready? Okay. Give me one more shot. Here be spoilers. Spoilers. You still here? Okay. We have to talk about fridging, boys and girls, and out of character behavior. Let's see. Fridging, for those who are unaware, is a term that was coined by Gail Simone and is based off of an issue of the Green Lantern, where Kal Rayner came home and found his girlfriend literally stuffed into a fridge by the bad guy to anger him and motivate the plot. Now, most of the time, this happens to female characters. Not always, though. Once Upon a Time is a prime example of a show that has killed male characters for no other reason than to move the plot along for the female characters. I'm looking at that Belle, Merlin, Robin Hood, etc., etc., etc. The list really does go on and on. So it's not a wholly female to male thing. However, it does disproportionately happen to female characters. This is a problem in media in general, and a huge problem in this episode, because Mary Morstan, spoilers again, did not have to die. She was killed to make John's wildly out of character behavior throughout the episode, which is something I will get into a little bit later, more damning. She was killed to move the plot forward. Everything about her death, despite it being on the surface about her past, was about Sherlock and John. It is extremely lazy. It is a waste of amazing actors. And it didn't have to happen if for no other reason than, surprisingly, a fan theory. So there's been a long time fan theory that Mary Morstan is actually Sebastian Moran. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the books, Sebastian Moran was Moriarty's right-hand man. He was the John to Moriarty's Sherlock. He was his pet assassin. He was ruthless and vicious and would do anything that Moriarty asked of him. There was a theory going around that when Moriarty died, he had several fail-safes in place. And one of those fail-safes was that if somehow Sherlock made it out alive, that Moran would kill John, one way or another. The theory was that instead of Moran being a man, Sebastian Moran turned out to be a woman. That woman was Mary Morstan. She came there for the express purpose to get close to John and then eventually kill him, because that would actually make it hurt more. And turns out she actually fell in love with him. She wanted to be a different person because she fell in love with him. And what's really interesting is that the previous season, season 3, kind of lays the groundwork for that. When she goes to confront Sherlock, when he figures out who she actually is, or at least a part of who she is, she says, I cannot let John know who I am. I cannot lose him. So there were hints in season 3 that she actually was Moran. That would have been an amazing plot twist. It would have given us a amazing female villain, because I'm sorry, but Irene Adler was not it. She was a disappointment on almost every level. Sorry, Laura Pulver, you're an excellent actress. You did the best you could with what you had, but that character was terrible. And she would have been well-rounded. She could have been a chaotic, neutral character, and it would have tied her to the overall plot of the show. It would have been brilliantly done. And even if we kind of knew it was coming, it still could have been done in a way that we would have given a damn about. Instead, she gets murdered because Sherlock apparently forgot everything he's learned in the previous 3 seasons and doesn't know how to read a room. So once again, he's in a situation where somebody has a gun and he doesn't know what's going on and can't seem to figure out that maybe running his mouth and being the smartest person in the room this time might not be the best choice. So we get Sherlock not understanding how to read a room, even though everyone in the room is telling him that something is about to pop off. We get Mary, who seems to forget everything that she went through in the season finale of last year and how much John and Sherlock came through for her in a clutch. Seems to throw all that out the window and forgets that John and Sherlock love her and would do anything to keep her safe. That's not even talking about the baby. We have John behaving wildly out of character. It is all so lazy. It is all set up for plot. This show is not a perfect show, but I have never ever felt that the plot was making demands of the characters instead of the characters making demands of the plot before. Until this episode. This episode left me feeling so not just underwhelmed, but kind of low-level angry, if you can't tell. That it is amazing to me that they thought this was a good idea. So, I said all that to say, I honestly don't know how the season's going to play out. And I honestly don't know if I care. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't get why these choices were made. I'm kind of over it. So, I guess going into the second episode of the season, my questions are, why did Mary do what she did? Was there some other reason that she could have possibly done what she did? Is she really gone? And finally, do I even care? So, I don't know. What about you guys? Are you there for it, or are you kind of done with it? Let me know in the comments. This is Belle with Pop Culture Uncovered. You can find us at popcultureuncovered.com, Pop Culture Uncovered on Facebook, PC Uncovered on Twitter and Instagram, and PC Pop Culture Uncovered on Tumblr. Thank you, and